Hello and welcome to the Red Bud Dog Ranch. Today I'm sharing with you some more myths and misconceptions about shelter and rescue dogs. I made a video explaining some of the myths and misconceptions that I personally believed, and you can go back on my channel and watch that video if you're interested. Today I wanted to share a few more that I didn't have time to talk about in my last video. The first one is that purebred dogs do not end up at the shelter. This is glaringly, obviously not true, as I have Oakley, who's my Belgian Malinois. She came from the Tulsa Animal Services in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then I also have Penny Lane, who I suspect might be nearly purebred Great Pyrenees. And she came from a little rural shelter in Norman, Oklahoma. Both of these dogs were dumped, picked up as strays by animal control, and brought to the animal shelter. I see a lot of purebred dogs getting euthanized every week at the city shelter in OKC simply due to kennel space. There are so many German Shepherds in there all the time, it's almost unbelievable. I've even seen Dobermans and Weimaraners and other very expensive breeds end up at the shelter. I had no idea that purebred dogs could end up at the shelter. I always thought if people spent a lot of money on a dog, why in the world would they want to rehome it? But more often than not, I see on the internet a lot of scenarios and reasons that people are looking to rehome their purebred dogs. I see a lot of people that get German Shepherds. It's a very common and popular and beloved breed. And then they realize they bit off more than they could chew. This dog is too rambunctious, too much for them to handle. I see scenarios of people that are moms and say, I have young kids and I got this German Shepherd puppy because I thought it would be great with my kids, and it's just too excited and too rambunctious. It knocks my kids down and I don't know what to do with it. I need it gone. Or scenarios of people that are moving into a small apartment or have moved into a small apartment, and guess what? This large breed dog isn't doing well. No surprise there, but unfortunately I see it happen every day. There is also the unfortunate scenario where the owner might pass away and no one in the family can take on the dog, so they'll end up at the shelter. So if you are looking for a purebred dog, just take a peek at your local shelter because you don't know what you might find there. So the next myth that I have seen a lot online, I don't think I personally believed this one, but shelters are going to be full of sick dogs that require a lot of veterinary care or have high complex medical needs. This simply is not true. There are a lot of dogs that do end up at the shelter for various medical reasons, but there are also plenty that are there as normal, healthy, adoptable dogs. A lot of the medical cases, they don't even necessarily make those dogs adoptable. They are either euthanized or they are put on a transfer-only list, meaning only someone that's an approved foster or approved rescue can pull the dog to give it the medical care that it needs. So those dogs aren't necessarily deemed as adoptable to the public right away. So you wouldn't have to worry about going in and adopting this dog and then learning, oh my goodness, it's got a broken leg or something like that, because they typically aren't going to allow those dogs to be adopted out to the public. So there are going to be cases sometimes where a dog might have heartworms or some other common illness. But through our city shelter here in Oklahoma City, if you do adopt the dog from them and they do test positive for heartworms or maybe some other common treatable medical condition, the shelter will actually cover the cost of that treatment. So you, as the adopter, don't have to pay for that. Heartworm treatment can be very expensive, and that's not on you. You just have to bring them back to the shelter to get treated. So it can be a little bit of a burden on you to have to bring the dog back. However, any dog is susceptible to heartworms. Even your pet dog that you have in your home can be susceptible to getting heartworms. It simply comes from them getting bit by a mosquito that is carrying that disease. Even dogs that are on medication to prevent heartworms can actually still be susceptible to getting that disease. So being afraid of a dog having some serious medical condition is not a reason to skip out on looking at the dogs at the shelters. Our shelter, too, actually has a clause when you sign the contract to adopt the dog that if they have a serious medical case or they pass away within 30 days of you adopting them, you can bring them back, essentially return the dog, and get another dog for free. it's kind of sad if you think about it, but it does give you a little bit of that safety net if you are worried about taking on some dog that's going to have all these medical issues. So sometimes people do dump their dogs because of a medical issue. They get picked up by animal control and they do end up at the shelter. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I'm just explaining that not every dog that's at the shelter is there because of some various highly complex medical need. So I hope that that wouldn't cause anyone to not want to adopt a dog. Just in 2025, we have brought home 5 new dogs into our family. All of these dogs have come from shelters or rescue organizations in my area. Before adopting these dogs, most of the myths and misconceptions that I've talked about in this video and my previous video were ones that I thought, and they had stopped me and prevented me from adopting dogs from rescues for years. And it's very unfortunate when I think back on it, because I probably missed out on some really amazing and some really great dogs simply because I believed these things. So I hope from my videos maybe you've learned something new. Please leave a comment below with any myths or misconceptions about shelter and rescue dogs, and maybe you can help somebody else learn something new that I didn't talk about in my videos. I really appreciate everyone watching and supporting my channel, as this does help support my rescue and my foster dogs and my mission. So thank you. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe.